is he not like he's reinvented himself, but I think Andy Josh has kind of found himself again. He's found himself to say, like, you know what, I'm not taking on nonsense from anybody. And so it's gonna be for a good fight as long as it lasts.
How important is the build up to the fight?
It's the most important thing. Because it's like this weekend, right? We've got Derek Chisora versus Joe Joyce, right? And I'm telling anybody, make sure you get this on the short, Sean, right? Right? Because this is like, take a seat. And I'm with my guy, Sean Land, right? I'm letting you know this now. This weekend is going to be a barn burner. It's going to be a barn burner because you've got Joe Joyce and Derek Chisora and people looking at this fight like this fight ain't meaning nothing on paper because they're seeing one guy who's well past peak and another guy who's got knocked out twice by Zhang. So you're thinking, right, I'm telling you now, 2 old war horses make for a good fight. Forget about any media savvy or how boring they were on their head-to-head or anything else like this. I'm telling you this now. Reason being because that's all that these men know to do. And Derek Chisora doesn't bottle it from anyone. And Joe Joyce, even though sometimes he fights on the back foot, he always he fights aggressively. And he throws a lot of punches. It's going to be a very, very entertaining fight. And I'm so looking forward to it. So I've got to say a massive big up to Queensbury. For putting this on, and like Riyadh Season doing great stuff.
Absolutely. Joe Joyce, like at one stage, I thought he was gonna be world champion. The way he was, he just like walked through everything. The guy could take every single punch. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, he fought sort of Zhang, and poof, it was a bit of a shock.
The easiest thing, Sean, is to look at this, right? That water can erode rock, right? And I never like when you hear, oh, well, this guy's so tough. He's got a granite chin. You see, because you're going to keep on taking shots. And I'm telling you, you're getting shots from big guys who are 210 up to 240, 250 in pounds. That's big 19 stone, 20 stone guys flying at you. It's going to take its toll eventually, right? That's what happens. It's going to take its toll eventually on you. And when it takes its toll, that's when you start getting knocked out. I like to hear when guys go, oh, well, this guy's got a good chin. That's nice. But you know what? On top of that, he's got a really good defense and he's got really, really good boxing ability, right? And we saw this, right, with some of the greats who were kind of reliant on the fact that they were so uber gifted that they could do magical things, like Roy Jones Jr. Yeah. Roy Jones Jr. could do magical things, right? Magical things. I remember the night, was it June 9th or no, sorry, March 9th, when he beat Andy Ruiz to become the WBA heavyweight champion, right? 2003. I was in Miami with myself, David Hay, Gary Logan, and Adam Booth. We were out there because David Hay was going to be fighting them, so we went out there for a training camp out there. And I remember watching that fight in a bar on Ocean Drive, and it was incredible what I witnessed. It was like, wow, this is crazy. But when you're relying on, not saying that Roy Jones don't know the fundamentals, he does, but he was supremely gifted. He had fundamentals, but he was a speedster. But when you start slowing up a bit, you can get timed, you can get hit, you can get hurt, right? But for many years, we never saw Roy Jones get hit. So for years and years and years, we never saw Roy Jones get hit. Then all of a sudden, you see him get hit in his fight against Antonio Otava. He gets hit, and he gets knocked out. Boom. Right? So we're looking at that now, we're saying, wow. So when someone's relying on toughness, or I could just keep on walking forward and getting hit, you're getting hit. Everybody has a gauge inside of them, just like a computer game, right? And like you're playing a computer game like you're playing Street Fighter. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know who your favorite character on Street Fighter is, right? Right?
Ryu.
Right. Yeah, that's right. I love Blanca because Blanca always reminded me of Derek Chisora, right? Look at it here. Anyway, so when you're watching that, you got a gauge. It's going down, right? But then you got to go into a next round. But your gauge hasn't gone back up. It's still there. It's going to go down. So everyone's thinking, wow, you're so tough. Then eventually it's going to go. So I like guys who practice the noble art. I'm a big supporter and lover of the noble art and scientific boxing. The crash bang wob is okay, but I appreciate that. but I don't. That doesn't. I don't go crazy over that.
Do you think that's what happened with Mike Tyson? We had that peekaboo style who's really good at his head movement and a real big puncher. But, you know, when he started getting a little bit older, his movement was left. So he's getting, you know, his movement was less. So he got caught more. Or what do you think the downfall of Mike Tyson was?
I know you most probably watched an interview with Evander Holyfield when Evander Holyfield was saying like young Mike Tyson would move his head side to side on certain motion, and then as he got slower, as he changed trainer as well, he was with a guy called Kevin Rooney. Then he left. Him and Kevin Rooney broke up, and then he was working with Aaron Snowland. And when he was working with those guys, it's like the movement kind of stopped, so you could time Mike Tyson. When that goes, it's not like there's a comparison. Like Mike Tyson really had a really good chin, right? You got to think about it. He had a really, really good chin. But, and using like Tyson as, if we go back to November of 1986, when he beat Trevor Burbick in 2 rounds to become the WBC heavyweight champion of the world. A lot of people can talk about Mike Tyson. Well, Mike Tyson wasn't really that great. Mike Tyson was. I want people to realize this. When you were 20 years old, what were you doing? When you were 20 years old, at 20 years old, you can't even urinate straight, right? Right. I just want you to realize this, right? And Mike Tyson at age 20, this is spookily scary, knocked out Trevor Burbick to claim the WBC heavyweight championship of the world. And Trevor Burbick wasn't known. Trevor Burbick has been in with good guys, been in with Larry Holmes, who's an all-time great, most probably one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. Beat Pinkland Thomas, who had one of the best jabs I have seen in heavyweight boxing since the great Sonny Liston, right? And he walked through Trevor Burbick like a hot knife through butter. At 20. Realize that. That's the thing that makes Mike Tyson so great. Forget about everything else that he did. Not only that, but he could intimidate everybody. Everyone's trying to fight him, right? Forget about all of that. But that's what made Mike Tyson great, because at 20, what discipline was instilled in that young man from Customato, right? To say, right, I want this tunnel vision, focus, and discipline. And for that, I give Mike Tyson all the credit in the world. I don't care anything else that he did. I'm saying you became the youngest man ever to win the World Heavyweight Championship. And then you went on to become undisputed champion as well. You beat good men in Tony Tucker. You beat good men in Bone Crusher Smith. You beat good men in Tony TNT Tubbs. You fought good men, right? We would say, oh, but they weren't great. No, but they were good men. And technically, they're head and shoulders, a lot of those guys are head and shoulders technically above the heavyweights that we've got today. Even though heavyweight boxing changed now, right? Usyk is a different kind of monster, right? But I'm saying to you, it is what it is. Mike Tyson, an all-time great, man.
He's one of my favorite boxers ever. You know, he's just I want to be like, I'm Mike Tyson, you know, I'm the best ever. Like, he was just so entertaining inside and outside of the ring. And the thing is, he just didn't give a shit. He was just him all the time. He just said what he wanted to.
Well, he didn't originally start off like that.
No.
If you look at Mike Tyson's story, like when he was up in Catskills, when he was being trained or mentored, right, by the late great Customato, Mike Tyson wasn't filmed as this bad boy to say what you want. He was very, very respectful. You'd watch all his, because back then, like 86, you'd wake up early in the morning and you get the reruns that we on ITV, and you'd watch Mike Tyson. And I really liked Mike Tyson then. And then I really started to hate Mike Tyson because people were saying like, oh, he's better than Muhammad Ali. And I remember I was going livid. I was like, what, are you crazy? Yeah. Right? And I remember this. I remember, was it February 25th, 1989, he fights Frank Bruno, right? And I remember Des Lynam, who I respect. And I remember Des Lynam saying like, oh, a lot of people are comparing him to Joe Frazier, but, you know, he's far better than that. And I was like, you know what I mean? I was going off him then because people was kind of comparing, like, he could beat Muhammad Ali. And nobody could beat Muhammad Ali. I was like, But yeah, I really went off Mike Tyson. But Mike Tyson at that time there, when he lost those handlers who were around him, like he had a close friend, Steve Lott, who recently, well, not recently, a few years ago, he passed away. Steve Lott was around him. You know, Bill Caton was not the nicest person. If you ever read Mike Tyson's book, Undisputed Truth, it's a really,